Craftinistas, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make your own beaded bracelets using double-sided charms. Now the charm I'm using is an elephant charm that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I love elephants because they are a symbol of good luck. And then I also chose the tiger eye bead because the tiger eye stone is known to help you release fear and anxiety, and it also helps you with harmony and balance. So for the supplies, you're going to need your stretchy cord, which I'm using the 5mm, your double-sided charm, you see the two circles on the side, and again I'm using this elephant that I found at Hobby Lobby. I'm also going to use some spacer beads. These are gold hematite spacer beads I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm also going to use tiger eye stones, and of course you're going to need some crimp beads, and you're going to need a total of 2 crimp beads, one for each side. Now as you can see, the crimp beads come in 2 different sizes, the smaller size and the larger size. I'm going to use the smaller size today. So to get started, you're going to cut your stretchy cord. Now if you're making this for someone else, you definitely want to make sure that you measure it. For women's bracelets, I usually make them about 6.5 to 7 inches long. But if you're making it for yourself, you can just measure it on your own wrist. Just make sure that you give yourself at least a ½ inch to a full inch so that you can it can be easier for you to tie it. And so right now I'm just measuring my wrist, obviously struggling because I'm trying to measure my own wrist. But once you get a measurement that you're comfortable with, you can go ahead and cut it. And so now I'm going to show you how we can set up the actual bracelet. So you're going to start by grabbing your crimp bead, and you're going to make a charm sandwich. And what I mean by that is you're going to load your crimp bead on first, then you're going to put the charm on your stretchy cord. You're going to weave the stretchy cord through the first side of your charm, and then you're going to bust a U-turn and go right back through your crimp bead. And this is why the size of your crimp bead matters, because when you're dealing with your stretchy cord, you have to choose a crimp bead size that can fit your cord twice, because you're going to have to feed it through twice. So once you feed it through, then get it as close as possible to the edge of your charm. Grab your crimp bead tool and then go ahead and press it down. You want to make sure that you pull it just to test it and make sure that it's actually crimped well and that it's not going to move. Now, I'm not too worried about it being super close because my first bead is actually going to cover up the crimp bead. There are also crimp bead covers. I'm not using those today, but I'm sure you can get your hands on them from any craft supply store. So now that we have that one side on, now I'm going to just create my pattern. And for my pattern, I'm going to use the tiger eye stone, which, as I said, is known to help you to release fear and anxiety, and it also helps you with harmony and balance. So I'm going to create a pattern with the tiger eye bead, then the hematite spacer bead, and that's going to be my pattern back and forth. I really love these hematite spacer beads because they are gold plated and they don't fade. I've been using these for years, and I've used them for customer beads or customer bracelets, and I still get pictures to this day of people who are like, my bracelet still has not turned. And I'm talking people have worn them to the gym, they've worn them in community service, they wear them every day, they wear them when they shower. And so that's one of the reasons why I love these beads, and I didn't have to coat them or anything. All I did was just take them off the string, and that was it. So I found these at Hobby Lobby, but I've also seen them at Michael's too, and they're just a square shape, and they're called gold hematite spacer beads. So I'm just going to keep weaving this on until I'm comfortable with the string being full enough so that I can actually tie the other side. But again, I'm just repeating the pattern of the tiger eye bead, hematite spacer bead, and I'm pretty much going to fill up this string just because of the way that I measured it. So that's what you guys can do too. So, and then you can choose different sizes of beads if you want. Like you can start off with a smaller bead and then feed it into a bigger bead. I always say this, but I love that crafting allows you to make something the way that you want to make it. You can make it your own. If you're going to sell these to people, you definitely want to make sure that you create a pattern that's consistent and something that you can keep making over and over again, unless your style is to do just one of a kind bracelets where you only make one of each style, and that's fine too. So more hematite spacer beads. And I got this bead board, by the way, I got this from Amazon, and I'll put the link to all of the supplies in the description below so that you guys can make sure that you get whatever I'm using, but you don't have to make it with tiger eye. I really just wanted to show you how to do the double-sided charm. All right, so I'm pretty comfortable with how these are looking right now. The bracelet's pretty full. And so once you're comfortable with where you are, you can double check your measurements with your measuring tape. And this is about 7 inches, which is cool because I'm petite, so it's going to fit my wrist for sure. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to finish it off. So as you can see, like, it fits my wrist pretty good. And this is something you want to double check. Unless you're making it for a client, then you just want to, make sure that you're going by the standard wrist measurements. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it off by putting the other end of the bracelet into the other side of the charm. So I'm going to grab my crimp bead again, and I'm going to feed it on. Now this is the part where you want to make sure that you're careful, because since you've already loaded all of your beads, you want to make sure that your crimp bead stays in place, because it will move and sometimes it will get stuck up under the charms that you've already put onto your bracelet. So this is something that you definitely want to be careful about. It's not the end of the world if it happens. You just take your bead off, put it back on, take the bead off, take the crimp bead off, then put your other bead back on, and then just start again with the crimp bead. It happens to me a lot, mostly because I'm rushing when I craft. But when you put your crimp bead on, this is definitely something that you want to be aware of. So once you load it on the other side, you're pretty much going to follow the process that you did the first time. Load your crimp bead on, feed your stretchy cord through the other side of the charm, and then you're going to bust another U-turn and then feed the stretchy cord back through the crimp bead. And it's going to look something like this. Now, how much extra string you leave is a matter of your personal preference. Sometimes, depending on how much you leave, you'll need to feed the excess stretchy cord back through your beads. So you want to make sure that you're paying close attention to that as well. So depending on how much extra you have, you may have to end up feeding it through, just for like aesthetic purposes. It looks better. So you can trim your excess cord, and you can discard that, and then that's it. Now you have created your own bead bracelet using a double-sided charm. Super, super easy, but it allows you to make something really, really pretty. I love the way that it allows you to, especially if you make jewelry that you can stack, it allows you to make something that's going to stand out. It's super easy, super fast. You don't need a lot of supplies to make it, but as you can see, you can really make something that's beautiful. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to invite you to join me on social media. You can find me on Instagram, and you can join my Facebook group called Crafters Plus Creators. You can also check out my website for more tips, www.rakisha.com. Thanks for watching. Take care.